It's the year 2023, and for some reason, some of the best games are actually remakes and remasters of games almost 20 years old at this point. Of course, I'm talking about the hit games such as Resident Evil 4, which helped define the over-the-shoulder shooter genre, and of course, Metroid Prime, which was Metroid's first jump into 3D, and as we all know, for most games, may not be the most graceful transition. So I ask, is Metroid Prime Remaster worth it? Let's talk about it. Aside from a facelift in terms of visuals, new recorded voice lines for scans, and a few new things added in terms of control, the game is a near one-to-one to the original GameCube release. And that's not a bad thing. Back then, critics and fans loved the Metroid Prime game. It's currently sitting at a 97% for GameCube on Metacritic and a 94 at the remaster as well, while establishing itself as one of the best-selling GameCube games of all time. The story begins with our protagonist and badass Samus Aran tracking down a signal from those requesting assistance from the space pirates. Basically, this game's antagonistic force in the story. During the arrival at the base, Samus confronts them in a battle and defeats a parasite queen in the core of the base. And due to the damage sustained during the fight, has to make a quick escape before the base explodes, killing everything inside. On the way out, Samus encounters Meta Ridley, an enemy from the past who leads the space pirates. And during her pursuit of Ridley, an explosion causes her suit to malfunction, removing many of her abilities. When she returns to the ship, she boards the nearby planet of Talon 4. It's up to Samus to figure out what happened while trying to track down Ridley. This game does a wonderful job at setting the scene very well and creating a desire to proceed, not only from a story standpoint, but also from a progression standpoint. You see, during the first segment of the game, Samus has all these cool abilities from the charge shot, the missile launcher, the morph ball, and of course, the grapple beam. The fact our hero had so many cool abilities, we want to get them back and use them for more adventuring around the world of Talon 4. Visually, for a GameCube game, it's stunning. It's one of the best looking games on the Nintendo Switch and the GameCube. There is so much attention and life created in the environments, such as when you stand nearby the waterfalls, you'll see what appears to be droplets and mist on your visor. So much more. Every creature and landscape in the game is pretty unique to their location, thus giving this world a really big feel to it, even though all the locations are relatively condensed to each other. The Chozo ruins give this great ancient ruin aesthetic with a touch of sci-fi elements with more of a focus on bug and plant-like creatures. The Verana Drifts often feel a bit more open space compared to the ruins, along with the creatures adapted to the extreme cold. And the Magmoor Caverns truly feels what it likes to be at the center of the earth, with the focus on mining and drilling technology you would find in a traditional minefield, which makes sense but adds a nice flavor, granting distinction to each new area. Of course, another strength of this game is the importance of your new abilities. For me, I found there is something truly special behind getting a new beam or a power-up, and then you suddenly remember of a door of an unusual color that you can now open and explore. The gameplay for the game feels right at home. Even the original release on the GameCube felt very intuitive, and now on Switch it carries over pretty well. I play using the Pro Controller primarily for my Switch, because I feel like I need to establish myself as a pro gamer. If anything, it's a bit nicer using the Switch's more modern control setup, since it's closer to a more conventional controller design that we've had compared to the GameCube. Look, I love the GameCube, but even looking at this side by side, it's definitely a vibe. In addition to using a more standard controller, you can also play easily in handheld mode, without losing any sense of immersion to the experience. Lately, it's been a great vibe just throwing on the Switch Lite with a great sounding headphone experience to get lost in the world. Speaking of which, this video is sponsored by absolutely no one. Moving along. Something interesting you can do is map out the playing style in terms of controls that better suit for you. It's a 3D Metroid game, so everything is here, from exploring a wide array of areas while learning about the world, collecting power-ups in order to proceed further into the game, and encountering engaging boss battles. The gameplay can be extremely rewarding in terms of uncovering hidden secrets. One of the more common use of Samus' ability is the ability to scan. So you can pretty much scan everything with either an orange icon, which provides insight on the object, or more importantly, the red icons. These ones are typically more important than the orange ones since they may lead to actions such as opening doors or other mechanisms. However, there will be times where you notice something scannable that normally wouldn't be, such as a wall telling you that it may be susceptible to damage, such as using a super missile. Destroying it can lead to some new upgrades, power-ups, or even key items. This is an amazing game design that incentivizes exploring and keeping your eyes out open. For the most part, I actually left the scanner on a ton to make sure I'm not missing anything. Same goes for the X-ray vision at times, which is another useful ability acquired later on in the game. Another recommendation for playing this game is that the map can be everything. Its design is a pseudo 2D 3D landscape with a very robust legend system that identifies doors, save points, elevators, and other points of interest. If you ever find yourself lost and there's not a big question mark on a certain part of your map, consider revisiting the map locations and look for areas you may not have explored. Often, this may be where you need to go, or you will find something that you were not aware of. Sometimes you'll even notice new exits of existing areas that lead to a special item that will assist you on your journey, or some jank. Like this cool wave beam thing. Like, it's really cool, but I never used it. Audio-wise, this game, like it always did, hits really well. From the great tunes from all the locations, each again being very unique to their location, and it goes hard. I really do like the chill vibes from all the tracks like the Chozo Ruins. It has an odd mixture of percussion driving the song, with a bit of sound effects and high-pitched notes creating a very similar vibe to something you would expect from lo-fi. Hell, if you really wanted to, you could even freestyle on this. Actually, Nah, not today. The OST has a nice array of styles to it as well, from the simple approach to the Chosen Ruins I mentioned before. You can also get something a bit more engaging since the Magmoor Cavern's main track, which honestly is really fitting. Considering how there's pipes all across the level, tech left from the Chozone and the construction equipment, who's to say that the focus on the second and fourth beat of each measure isn't music, but the machines themselves. And don't get me started on the sound effects in the character as well. There is another track called Battle 2 for like pseudo boss fights or special encounters. That goes insanely well with the intensity of the situation and the sound effects from the enemies. It's like peanut butter and chocolate. Honestly, I think it really highlights when you're fighting the Ghost Chozo, but you do you. Now, personally, I don't really see anything wrong with this game. The level design is incredible. You can tell in both versions a lot of detail went into this game. There may be a few areas such as the ill-lit research lab crawling with Metroid and the Pana drifts are a pain, but it doesn't last long and it breaks up the pace from normal expectations and causes a sense of discomfort, which is ironically a bit refreshing. The only thing I wish this game did was a few more quality of life adjustments. For example, with how big the map is and how the connection from other zones are by certain elevators, it would have been nice for each main zone to have one major save point location that could be used to fast travel to other areas within their own main save point location, kind of like a hub, so to speak. More or less, it just causes more time to spend exploring the areas, and could have been nice having the ability of fast traveling to specific areas to save some time. It's not a big deal, and if anything, you can make the argument that constantly going through the areas again with new power-ups and abilities may cause an idea or two to form a great result and find something you wouldn't have if you didn't have the ability of fast traveling. You see, this is one of those games where it's hard to find an issue like that and then spin it into a positive result. I love it. All in all, from a great facelift, the essence of the game is nearly still the same over 20 years ago in the original GameCube, with fantastic gameplay, an amazing world out there with multiple regions and secret to discover within the walls, and a game that keeps on delivering. You may not want to put this down. I finished my playthrough with about 80% everything completed and just about 13 hours, and immediately after I finished the game, I decided to and will be doing a playthrough on hard mode here and there while I'm currently going through my current gaming venture, The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. Whether you play the GameCube version or the Switch version, you honestly can't go wrong with this game. The more time you put into it, the more you will get out of it. Especially with each secret that you discover on your own. We still have plenty of other Metroid games to be released for the Switch, Hopefully we can get a Metroid Prime 2 Echoes along with Metroid Prime 3 Corruption to be released in the near future. Thanks for watching, everyone. Let me know your thoughts in the comments section below on this game and if you're excited for Metroid Prime 4 and other games that you're looking forward to. We've recently hit 200 subscribers, and I want to thank all of you for the love and support and coming with me on this journey. And I look forward to the next video, so hit subscribe and enjoy the community. We got a lot more plans, and I would love for you to be there for the ride. Take it easy, everyone. Peace.